Tonight we join together with Gibson and the West Tennessee chapter of the Arthritis Foundation to pay tribute to our good friend Sam Phillips, one of the 20th century's most influential people. A man who has already received many prestigious honors from his peers as both a pioneer in broadcasting and an artist in recording. As the father of the rock and roll, Sam Phillips was the first inductee of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was in the first class with Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, the Beatles, Little Richard, the Rolling Stones, among others. As a genius in audio production, Sam Phillips is a member of the Hall of Fame of Technical Excellence and Creativity. That's an association of engineers and technologists, Sam's peers. He was inducted just last month, along with Paul McCartney. 6 of the records Sam Phillips produced just up the street from here are enshrined in the Hall of Fame of the National Association of Recording Arts and Sciences, the Grammy Hall of Fame. Think about them. Jackie Brenston and Ike Turner's Rocket 88, produced in 1951. The first recording to be included in a genre of music later to be called rock and roll. Sam Phillips was doing rock and roll before it had a name. That's All Right Mama, by Elvis Presley, Scotty Baur, who was here tonight, and Bill Black. A record that introduced the world to a unique and unclassifiable sound, fusing all musical styles of its day. Johnny Cash's I Walk the Line, Jerry Lee Lewis's Great Balls of Fire, and Bill Justice's Raunchy, all as vibrant and distinctive today as when they were recorded over 40 years ago. And finally, that Declaration of Independence for an emerging youth culture, Carl Perkins' Blue Suede Shoes, the first record to cross over racial and cultural lines to reach the top of the charts in all categories of popular music. You're noticing, I hope, how often I use the words all and first, because those are the kind of words that make somebody one of the most influential people in what that person does. These 6 records were among the cream of a bountiful crop of masterpieces produced by the skilled hand, conductor's ear, and boundless spirit of Mr. Sam C. Phillips. As stated in the acclaimed documentary, The Evolution of Rock, Sam Phillips knew how to make the music come alive. That recording techniques used at Sun Records were so far ahead of their time that the energy generated at those sessions has yet to be equaled. And I'm still quoting, more rock and roll history came out of that little Memphis studio than from any other place on earth. Think about that. Tonight, we can neither add nor detract from the accomplishments which now belong to an ongoing history. What we can do is better appreciate the vision of Sam Phillips, the vision that guided his genius and motivated those accomplishments. It is a special vision, one that embraces the democratic values of freedom, opportunity, and the worth of the individual. One that has the inherent courage to confront and overcome great obstacles. And one that sees clearly through glasses made dark with racial prejudice and social stereotypes. From his boyhood days in Florence, Alabama, Sam Phillips had the vision to see the worth in what was, and most important, the potentiality to make the what was even better in the future. In 1950, while working as a sound engineer for WREC Radio, located incidentally then right here in this building in the Peabody, with his own hands, Sam Phillips built and wired a recording studio at 706 Union Avenue. He first called it the Memphis Recording Service, and then in 1952, Sun Records. It was the place where the abundant talent in Memphis and the surrounding area got the first opportunity to be recorded. At his own expense and with little promise of reward, Sam Phillips opened a door and the people rushed in. Who were these people? As described by Sam's late brother, Judd, they came out of a melting pot of human suffering. They were all poor, black and white. They were suffering, looking for a job, and singing as they felt. In Judd Phillips' exact words, which I recorded in 1979, wherever they got the lyrics, they were singing out their souls. Sam Phillips did not discover this talent. It discovered Sam Phillips. Sam Phillips developed the talent by providing for it much more than a simple place to record under his expert direction. At a time when aspiring artists were required to sound alike, Sam Phillips gave people the freedom to take chances and the encouragement to authentically express themselves and their culture. That, my friends, in its day was revolutionary. Much easier said than done, but the number of people who got their start at Sun are a testimony to that democratic vision of Sam Phillips. The list is too long to read. Many have already been introduced tonight. Besides Presley and Perkins and the others I have mentioned, that list includes Chester Arthur Burnett, the immortal Howlin Wolf, Riley B.B. King, Rufus Thomas, Charlie Rich, Junior Parker, Roy Orbison, and on. Vision with inherent courage can turn dreams into reality, and it took great courage for Sam Phillips to beat the seemingly insurmountable odds that stood in front of the realization of his dream. How many people in the early 50s wanted to loan money or give credit to a neophyte producer who wanted to record unknown and untrained would-be musicians on a jackleg label? How could this new kid on the recording block compete with the four major labels of the day who had a virtual stranglehold on the record business? How could anyone get radio stations to play anything new or different, especially when it was or even sounded black? Well, Sam Phillips did it. He had the courage to fight for a dream, and he overcame. Sam Phillips' vision was democratic, courageous, but above all, penetrating. He was blind neither to the depth and power of the prejudice he confronted, nor to the quality of the music of native African American folk that made that music such a powerful instrument of personal and cultural liberation. Combined with the energy, innocence, and hopefulness of youth, such a powerful music could free the soul like a genie escaping from a bottle. If Sam Phillips indeed said something to the effect of, if I could find a white singer with a Negro feel, I could make $1 million, he was not thinking about personal riches, I assure you. Instead, he was expressing his profound understanding of the need and desire among all young Americans for a music of liberation in the context of the prejudice that prevented the acceptance of that music. It was a penetrating vision of a dark reality with a bright potentiality that opened the door to Elvis Presley, who, under the spell of Phillips' vision, opened the door to everyone else then and still now. In conclusion, Sam Phillips has become one of those rare personalities generally spoken of as legends in their own time. Watching him, as many of us did in the brilliant Peter Guralnick documentary recently shown on A&E Biography, watching Sam speaking to a group of Florence high school students made me want to think of Sam Phillips simply as a music man, a very special music man. Like the character Harold Hill in the Broadway play, Sam Phillips was in touch with a very special music. It was a music he envisioned with his mind's eye, looking through that glass darkly and seeing the rhythm and melody and life and vitality of common folk in the most American part of America. As he found a way to share that music with the world, and he found that way, the music of Sam Phillips can be found on no chart. To find it, we must look into the soul of humanity, of which we all are a part. Think about it. And God bless you, Sam.
You know, I was on a train with Elvis back in 1957 when we were going to Los Angeles. Elvis was getting ready to start shooting the motion picture Jailhouse Rock. And we were reminiscing about his career. And he said, George, you know, he said, Sam Phillips gave me the greatest advice I ever got in my entire career. I said, yeah, what was that, Elvis? And he said, Sam told me, he said, Elvis, whatever you do, don't let them change you. And he said, I never did.
What a great honor it is to be here on behalf of Sam Phillips, a man who I have great admiration and love for. A man who has certainly influenced my life, and as we all know, the world. When the Smithsonian was researching American music, they found out that all musical roads led to Memphis. And that was the start of our new, wonderful Smithsonian Rock and Soul Museum. And if this is true about all the roads, I have to say that all the roads lead to Sam C. Phillips Boulevard. I think it's appropriate that Sam is being honored here tonight at the Peabody, where in the late 40s and 50s, Sam was an announcer and recorder for the big bands for WREC on the Peabody rooftop right here. Now Sam, I don't know if you know this, but I was a child, I was there. My dad would pick me up when I was about 6 years old, and since we didn't have enough money for a babysitter, he took me along with him. And I was crawling around underneath those tables when my father was dancing to the big bands. That was my first introduction to music, Sam. This is a true story. And Sam, as you know, when I was 12 years old, I met Elvis Presley. George and some of the guys were playing football. They were about 19, and this is how popular Elvis was. He couldn't get up 6 people to play football until he started recording with Sam. So they let the little kid in grade school play. And Elvis soon became my dear friend. We had a great 23-year relationship. But Sam, you've always been my hero. I am proud to be here tonight because not only are you my hero, Sam, but you're also my friend. I would not have had my first job with Elvis if it wasn't for you. And yes, I would not be here now or have my current job if it wasn't for you, because without Sam Phillips, there wouldn't be any need for a music commission in Memphis, Tennessee. I have had the opportunity to work with you, Sam, on a TV series. And, you know, with you and Knox and Peter Guralnick and all the times we spent talking about this project, which I had a passion for, and that's your biography, Sam Phillips, the man who invented rock and roll. And after years of working with you closely, now I truly understand why you've always been my hero. More important than jobs, though, Sam, are the gifts of music and freedom that you have given us all. The gift of black music and the freedom of choice to listen. Things have changed a lot in 50 years, and you were that catalyst for change. What you have done with music far outweighs what religion and politics have been able to accomplish on the human level. You had the courage to leave this rooftop and embrace the rhythms of Bill Street. The artists that you felt the world should hear were given an opportunity that they never had before you. And without the foundation of your original artists, such as Howlin Wolf, Johnny Gregg, on and on and on, there wouldn't have been that attraction to Elvis Presley, to your studio, and those who had followed him, which was the start and the birth of rock and roll. So Sam, thanks for all the fun and for letting guys like me wear pink shirts and have long hair, right, Knox? But most of all, thank you for your passion, determination to make the world a more understanding place through music. I love you, man.
You know, Sam Phillips, it's an easy subject for me because I grew up around 706 Union. Used to hang out. Before they invented the word groupie, I was there every night just watching them record Charlie Rich and watching them record Roy Orbison, watching them record Carl and Johnny and Elvis and all. And Sam had a pet phrase that I always liked. And he said, George, if you're not doing anything different, you're not doing anything. And I thought about that a long time. And if you listen, none of Sam's artists sounded alike. Elvis didn't sound like Roy Orbison. Roy didn't sound like Jerry Lee. Jerry Lee didn't sound like Johnny Cash, and so forth and so on. What a great innovator he was, ladies and gentlemen. See, you can luck into one song. Anybody, they call them one-hit wonders. You get lucky and have one hit. You get lucky to be a star, for, as they said, for 15 minutes. But when you discover the people that Sam discovered, ladies and gentlemen, like Elvis, and Carl Perkins, and Johnny Cash, and Roy Orbison, and Charlie Rich, and Bill Justice, and Billy Riley, all those great artists over there, that is not luck, ladies and gentlemen, that is genius. Elvis told me, when Elvis had been on stage for about 8 or 9 years, the movie contracts ended and Elvis decided to go back on stage in Las Vegas. And he said, George, you know the first person I'm going to call to be there as my guest? I said, no, Elvis, who? He said, Sam Phillips. And he called Sam himself and had invited Sam and Knox and Jerry and Sally and the whole family out to Las Vegas to be right there at ringside when he opened up. He said he wanted Sam to be there. Sam actually was more than just a record producer or a record executive to Elvis. He was a confidant. He was sort of a surrogate father. In fact, Sam was that to all of his artists, to Jerry Lee and to Johnny and Carl and all those guys. He was more than just a record producer or a founder of Sun Records. He was a part of their family.
Thank you very much, George. First of all, I would like to address the fact that I'm indeed grateful for this honor, but I am a believer in the wonderful people that are doing so many things for the hurting people of this universe. And all we know about right now is the world. But these people, and when I got the call, whether or not I would be the honoree, or one of them, I thought, you know, this is kind of something that you just kind of think about and don't know that you'll ever get a call to serve in a manner of loving people, knowing the hurting people out there, from arthritis and so many other diseases. Then I look at all the things that God blessed me with in the way of a little talent. And standing on the right corner and the wind blowing in the right direction, things worked out for me. And it was for the good of people to understand each other better, bring a little feeling of enjoyment, maybe make the burdens of life a little lighter and the happiness of life a hell of a lot more fun. But I look at the wonderful people in research for the different back page diseases that don't command, and it's nobody's fault really, but somehow or the other it doesn't have the emergency type headline. But you know, I guess I have so much respect for people that research to help people, to help dogs and cats and everything that God has put on here, and oh Lord, didn't forget very many. And to be honored by this unusual bunch of people that work so hard, get so little credit. And I want them to know that everything, Dr. King, Dr. Morrison, and the hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of researchers that work on all sorts of diseases. We must think more about what we can do to help our fellow man. Hold his hand, her hand. Go in and look at a microscope all day long. Look at slides, talk. Never give up that desire to want to find that thing like I felt about a certain freedom that is contained in that nut of music. I just knew it was there from my experience, from what God somehow or the other had shown me that so much good can come from even a person as unworthy as me. I am absolutely delighted to be here among some of the most wonderful people I've met coming in. Some I knew for a long time, know for a long time. And I assure you we're going to boogie in just a little bit. But I do have a feeling of special thanks to some of these. You take a John Pocky now, why in the world with this man with the brain that he's got? Look at me, look at quote unquote my work, the work of these people that I worked with, that dedicated their soul in a little studio here that not many people believed in. And I certainly understand why. This man knows me, and whatever it is I am, better than I know myself, because he understands human nature. The quote-unquote, the thing that goes in our conscience, in our unconscious mind all the time. John Pocky is a brilliant man, and John, thank you for those words, and I know that if you didn't mean them, you wouldn't say them. Jerry Schilling, a very dear friend, all I can say to you is thank you, and I know that you will do so much more for Memphis as you have done all of your life, working with Elvis. Jack Soden is a very special person to this whole area. Jack has problems accepting any accolades and this sort of thing, but Jack has been so much to Memphis and to keeping the feel of Elvis in the hearts of the people that work for him and the people that know and love Elvis around the world. And that's a huge job because there's so many people that Elvis has touched and continues to touch and will, generation after generation. Dan Penn is a person, I was telling him out in the little vestibule, that he is an amazing young man. You'd have to know Dan really to know, well, Dan, you don't look right, wrong sex and the whole thing, wrong gender to be sweet. But I'd be damned if you ain't, you know? Dan Penn is a person that I have not been around a whole lot, have known from the first time I saw him. My whole life has been, I love to analyze people. I know that I miss more than I hit, but people are so absolutely beautifully satisfying, even people that are not quite so good. People are absolutely, we don't need to go even to the zoo to see people. And one of the most interesting things on the face of God's earth, and no matter how bad a few of us get, we can't overcome the fact that the human being, and some of us get pretty ornery sometimes, but we're still pretty wonderful sharers of love in our own way and under our own circumstances. Sometimes we can mix that up and call it a little selfishness, but I don't think there's anything like as many bad people, for whatever reason, as there are good people. Now, to get back to just the thanks of Mary Norman, who has devoted so much time to this, and all of the people, and Mary, I'm sorry I don't remember all of them, but it's just incredible how hard you have worked and the people that have worked with you. A man that has come to our community that I am absolutely so proud of is Henry Jeskowitz. This is a man all the way through. He is made out of soul. And I can assure you, he has come in here, and if we, in every way, don't assist him in every way we can to let the people know what an unbelievable product this man makes and has made for years. And he chose Memphis, Tennessee because, again, he's a very bright, loving, hardworking businessman that knows what is right and what might not be right. I want to tell you, Henry, we are proud to have you as a part of this great community. I do think that I believe we're going to have some fun after a while now. And I've had fun already. I know it's been compliments, but you know, I looked around a little bit and I looked at people, because a lot of times when you're at a place and they're presenting awards and this sort of things, no matter how meritorious they are, they can become a little, you know, let's just face it, a little boring, because I want to have me another drink and get up and dance, listen to some damn good music. But I got to tell you how much I love every one of y'all individually, and how much I love Dr. King and Dr. Morrison. And Dr. Morrison is up there somewhere, wherever up there he is, but I guarantee he ain't dead. In no way, from what I have read and heard about his dedication, and Dr. King and all of the many others that find that we weren't just put here for making money and all of that good stuff. Sure do like it. But These people are absolutely my heroes. And you can bet now that we've cracked that DNA. And I can tell you, I believe that some absolutely miraculous things will happen. But in the meantime, we should not forget the hurting of all of the people that have arthritis. I have seen it to where I just didn't know how some of the members of my family in Alabama, and it got to where they tried to transfer it some way out of their mind in addition to the direct hurt that came to their brains, but they couldn't do it. But somehow I know that we're going to find relief for these people, and through our love, we'll be able to help until we do find something, quote unquote, mechanical and spiritual that will help everybody with these sustained diseases that they call chronic. And let me see who I've left out. We've got people here like Scotty and Stan Perkins, who's a very handsome son of Carl. And I understand, and I have not had the opportunity of hearing him in person, but I understand the guy has a knockout. And I can certainly believe that from his papa. J.M. Van Eaton, I don't know that I haven't seen J.M., but this guy works so many things on drums at Sun Records. I saw Ace Cannon. This guy's been up and down a ladder. Let me tell you something, music has saved his life. I believe he would say that, because Johnny, like so many of us, get overburdened and we do things we shouldn't. But there's so many things that we can do for each other, and all of these people are here to say to me thank you, and I in turn, I am saying thank you to every person that's here, because y'all have been very special to come and participate in this. And finally, before we begin to boogie, and I want everybody that can, and this is Friday night, wish a lot of the men that have good-looking wives would go and, what they call it, urinate. That's the technical term, I think. While I look around a little bit and tap somebody on the shoulder when there's not a man around, see? I tell you, I love women. I don't know there's something wrong with me, but I sure do love y'all, girls. And we're gonna, everything about this is you know, a little business-like, but I tell you what, I know the only prescription I can write for just about everything that it ain't gonna make you worse, and I can almost assure you that without having a PhD or an MD at the end of my name, I can make you feel a little better with music. And a lot of you boys out there, take it to heart. We're here tonight as a unit of love, respect, honor, and I can tell you one thing, you have honored me, and you have honored the other two honorees, Dr. King and Dr. Morrison, and for that we are eternally grateful. And George Klein, the best master of ceremonies in the world, and I have said it, and somehow or another, I know you all know it, but I want to hear a resounding applause. I don't know, we take sometimes people for granted. George, you are something else, and I love you dearly, and we want George around here from now on. He's 100 to put us up here and introduce you, whoever the honoree might be. Thank you so very kindly, and what a pleasure to be in a love room filled with beautiful people. Thank you very much.